So, give me a thumbs up when we are live. Oh, I see us. All right, cool. Thank you, Jane. So, you're here.
The same room with George. I can't believe it. It's good to see you.
You too, you too. Welcome again.
Thank you.
So we were talking about leadership, and you were talking about striving, and we were talking about intention and how when the idea that we're all leading all the time, and we're thinking about this in terms of if you're at work in a meeting and you might have the idea that like, oh, I don't know what's going on in this meeting, and so I'm just going to sit back and kind of watch. And we tend to think that's not leadership. But our approach to leadership is you're just leading towards sitting back and watching, which is fine. There's no right or wrong about any of this. But for you to be thinking, considering that you are leading all the time, it's just a matter of what you're leading towards. So in applying this in your career, the intention that you have going into a meeting is your intention to get as much as you can, bring as much value to that meeting, or is your intention to not be seen, to hang out and not make any waves? Is your intention to gain a lot of understanding somewhere? Or is your intention to not look like you don't know what's going on? So that's kind of what we're teeing up with today's topic. The 3 ways that you influence are by thoughts, feelings, and actions of others. You influence the thoughts, the feelings, and actions of others. And basically, if you're alive, you're doing that in some way. There's all kinds of neuroscience and stuff on that. I don't know that we'll get into that, but we have people joining in. Welcome, everybody. This is Career Lab Wednesday. We are here every Wednesday from noon to 1 p.m. Central. There's a few ways for you to engage. We love it when you jump in on Zoom. That way we're able to work with you directly. Welcome, Sherry. Good to have you here. We're just kicking off. And we love it when you jump in on Zoom. We're able to answer your questions and work with you directly that way. If you're viewing in on LinkedIn Live or YouTube and you're unable to jump in on the Zoom, go ahead and type your questions into the comment section, and Jane will get those over to us. We'll do our best to answer those questions. So, as we're getting started here, Dr. Medlock, I think we haven't heard you share about career and purpose and how you hold that, and what's important to you about people's careers in their lives.
Thank you. Actually, George and I have been talking about this quite a bit in terms of people we're working with in Career Lab and in other coaching practice. And I realized, in our work, we have a developmental framework that we look at. How do we support people in their total development? And one of the key developmental levels is striving to purpose. And what I found is that people need to be striving for some kind of excellence in their life in order to really have purpose be meaningful. They find their purpose through the striving. And so what I got curious about in our Career Lab and in people's careers is, what are you striving to be excellent about? And this relates to what George was talking about in terms of leadership. What's your intention? What is it you're really wanting to get good at? And what are the practices you put into place to make sure that you're accomplishing that? And I'm emphasizing that because that's essential for you to be effective in interviewing and engaging and attracting people, is you going for something, as George was saying, as opposed to sort of eating potato chips and watching TV it's a kind of leadership, but it's not the dynamic thing that we want to be about. What are you actually striving for in your life in terms of what you're trying to get better at and ways you want to be excellent? And how could that support your career direction? So that's a question that I find very interesting, and I want to hear about where you all are at as you think about that and how you share that part of yourself in interviews with people or in your interactions. So
Thank you, Dr. Medlock. Yes, and that brings power to the interview, power to everything that we're doing in our career. So Ed, I appreciate you sharing that. And welcome, Rebecca. Good to see you. It's been a minute. And I want to say to everybody that we have our topic of ways that we influence, but we're really here to serve you. I love the framework that you're setting up, and we'll help connect the two. But I want to hear from anybody about what it is that you want. What questions do you have? How can we serve you in your career today? Rebecca, I'd love to hear from you. I don't know if you're in a space where you can share or not, but it's great to see you again.
Yeah, I was going to get a pen. I mean, there's lots of ways. I haven't been able to really come on here consistently. The last time I spoke with you guys, I was kind of trying to work with my manager to get her to understand, or get the company to understand, the benefits to the company and to the employee of working from home, because they're not really on board with that. They still aren't. And so it's kind of like one of those things that I'm battling from the middle, not from the top. Obviously, the top down is the best way to lead these things, but the culture just doesn't agree with, that aspect. So I'm at a point where, I really love my job. I love what I do. And, how do I maintain, my professionalism and not let my frustration over this topic not cause resentment when it's clear that I can do my job pretty much anywhere.
This is great, a great question. And first of all, just in terms of your comment, sometimes change happens from the bottom up too. So this is a kind of from the bottom, so the employee perspective on this can be very valuable for leadership to hear. But the question I have is, in any sales activity, people's objections are the most important things. If you get them generating objections, you can then engage with those. So what are the objections you're hearing from management about working from home?
Really, this is the way we've always done it. It's a field based kind of company. We have a lot of employees in the field. I've generally worked in those types of companies where, it's not consulting. I'm directly environmental compliance for a company that has employees in the field. So plants and that type of thing, those people can't really work from home. The plant manager possibly could. And they do sometimes. But the employees on the floor, they have to be there at the plant.
So when you're advocating your proposal, are you suggesting that they work from home as well? Or?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I can't suggest that they work from home, but that's their response. That's their response that, the employees that they're supporting.
So your response to that is, of course, the people in the field who need to be there, of course they come in. That's not who we're talking about. We're talking about the support of those people, right? Different kinds of positions, administrative positions, there may be other positions. So you redefine the focus. So what's your response to that objection when they bring that up?
Well, I guess I like how you said, we're not talking about them. I like how you said that. I'd like to talk about, I'm providing them support, of course. I'd like to talk about the support that this office can provide me, who is providing support to them. I need also support. And some of that support is kind of free for you. It's beneficial. And really, it doesn't cost you a dime is really my argument back. Did I lose you guys?
No, but I am a little confused. I'm not sure what you're speaking to. I'm the employer now. You're talking to your senior leadership, and you're telling me that you want to work from home, and there are other people in the organization you would think would also want to work from home. Is that correct?
I'm sure. Yeah.
What's the group you're representing? What's the proposal you're representing about? Who are you talking about to work from home?
The corporate of the support team for the plants, support team for
HR. What other departments are we talking about? Customer service.
Customer service, HR. I'm in the environmental EHS department, environmental health and safety.
Okay. Can your role be done from home?
It can, but I'm not asking for 100%. I'm asking for like the ability to do it 2 days a week,
Gotcha.
which
Gotcha.
they had us do in January, February, and March.
And how was that working when you were doing it that way?
I thought it was great. It helped me. It benefited me. It allowed me to be able to come home and focus on the things I needed to work on without having to listen to, people talking around me when I was at work, because now we've moved and it's an open office atmosphere. So all of our desks are sort of just laid out with no walls.
Hmm.
So
So you were
That's
more
not good.
productive. You were more productive in this new arrangement.
I was way more productive. I was more productive in my personal life. I was more productive in my business life, and I had less resentment, which allowed me to be more productive because I was able to do, some quick things like put a load of laundry in, that type of stuff, just kind of keep the house moving while I was still working. My breaks, consisted of that type of thing. I could, go for a walk without having to like figure out where am I going to go for a walk. I have to like kind of like walk out of the office.
So I'm curious, sometimes senior leadership isn't so interested in the convenience it provides you. They want to hear about the productivity it gives.
I'm sure they do.
So if you can frame your arguments in ways that are addressing their anxieties, plus they've also got an office that's now sitting empty and they're looking at the monthly square footage they're paying for, and they're saying, listen, that's painful probably for them to look at as well. So they've got a lot of their issues that they're struggling with. For you to be attuned to that so you can position your argument to address their concerns is really critical in being a good influencer. This is really one of our themes.
Right.
So, but their objections
Yeah.
are actually great. When they object, that's a good sign that they're considering what you're saying. But you need to be skilled at addressing.
Wait,
their
I
objections.
saw that. What was that? What was that look?
It's might be an objection, but it's it's kind of like it's the responses I'm getting is if I did it for you, I'd have to do it for everybody. It's out of my
Right.
hands. Like that's the kind of
Yeah, but so we want to break it down further here, because what Gordon's saying is that when you get an objection, it means you're actually getting like the conversation's actually starting. And there's that book, Never Split the Difference, where the guy who he does hostage negotiations, and he said that he learned to be very scared if there was no objections. If he was working with hostage takers, that if everything was going smoothly, he knew they were it was really dangerous. And he didn't start trusting things until they started pushing back. So you're hearing that, but I want to know, Rebecca, what's going on internally for you when you start to get some pushback?
Good question.
just the desire to just give up, the desire just to not speak my concerns anymore, just to sort of like lay down and just accept it. But that doesn't help because then I just fester in the same issues that I've dealt with.
What are the feelings that you have when you want to give up? Fear, hurt, anger, sadness, joy. Yeah, I know. Not everybody.
Anger, hurt.
Okay,
Yeah,
not
anger.
everybody knows this, but I know we know Rebecca, and I know she knows this bottom
Yeah.
line emotional intelligence language. So you feel anger?
And hurt.
Okay.
And it's not just this company. It's not, I'm taking out hurt from previous companies in my resentment towards this.
Well, so this is your internal work, right?
Yeah, it totally is.
Yeah. So you're
Yeah.
aware of that, and what are you doing to address those issues for yourself so that you have more of a proactive ability to kind of work through that resistance for yourself to feel more a sense of possibility of how you can influence? What are you doing yourself at this point?
Well, not allowing the conversation to go off the table, I guess.
Good.
Continuing to bring it back up,
Good.
not getting quiet, not resisting the urge to just get quiet,
Good. Good.
continuing to, I haven't actually sat down and provided my list of values. My boss just keeps saying, I know that you provide a lot of, she just keeps saying, I know, I agree. But I haven't actually sat down and quantified really what it is that I do.
Excellent.
Um,
But you
but
can actually
that's,
have two grids. You've got one column, when I'm in the office, this is the potential and this is what it looks like. When I'm at home, this is what it's looked like. Here's the differential in terms of the benefit to the company by this arrangement.
yeah.
Quantifying it is great if you can do that.
And the other thing is that I do travel at least once a month that requires flights. So, you know, one of the things that it's on it's a non-tangible,
Intangible, yeah.
intangible. You know, it's hard to tell whether or not a company is willing to hear, you know, okay, you know, an employee, you know, that travel can wear on someone, which it does. And it takes a bit for me to kind of get myself reorganized, reset when I come back, but working from home helps that.
So you don't have to travel,
Transition.
you're just working from home. You can do it. You can, you're saying.
No, I do have to travel. What I'm
Okay.
saying is the working from home creates a buffer
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
between me going out and taking a flight, which requires flying, you know, 2
Gotcha.
days and then being at the facility 2 days, being on the whole time that I'm at the facility. And I
So-
come back and I have to go right back to the office as opposed to, okay, I'm going to work from home a day as a buffer. You know, how do I explain to them that
So
that's a
what's-
tangible?
What
you
you're
know.
presenting is not just, I want to work from home, but I want a more flexible schedule that allows me to be maximally effective.
Yes.
Don't even use the word home. I'm looking at how to create a schedule that will be maximally effective for the company and for myself. And probably for other employees, so you'll have people really loving working here because they're really able to contribute and they also feel they're being supported.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I noticed I
Yes.
didn't use the word working from home once. Don't overuse that because that just triggers a kind of reaction. You're focusing on the benefit to you and the company with this new arrangement. And oh, by the way, that would mean flexible hours in terms of in the office versus not.
That way that you presented it, that I forgot the words. I co-voyaged with that, the way that you presented it, because yes,
So
it's
practice
the
it.
resentment that you were asking me about, the internal work is not really based around anything other than the fact that I'm providing the company, you know, it's not the 50-50 rule. I'm providing 100% to them and they're not willing to bend and give me anything back. I forgot what that rule is, but in the relationship thing, like,
Oh,
you know,
50-50.
Who gets 50% of the blame? Yeah. The problem
but
is,
written this, it's like who's pushing, who's giving it all as opposed to the other person not giving back.
so the problem with that in this negotiation is you don't want to paint them as the bad guy. So if the truth is, they've got an employee you've got an employee relationship, they're expecting a certain amount of work from you and whatever, that's the agreement. But you can fight on solid ground here for what you're wanting based on what they want too.
Yeah.
Right.
Effective employees. So, but there's that internal work of you feeling confident that actually enjoying the negotiation as opposed to it triggering you so much. You know,
Yes,
oh, good.
exactly. Yeah, I don't
understand
enjoy
your objection.
negotiations.
Yeah.
Thank you
And-
very much. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is what, to Gordon's point, I'm so glad you brought that up, Rebecca, about it's not your company's job, it's not your boss's job to, in that case, go 50-50 with you. There's ways that it is and ways that it isn't, but I suspect that emotional charge, that deep hurt and anger, that has to do with other stuff, like you mentioned, you brought that up. And so what Gordon's suggesting here, you can sidestep that charge and not have it be I need to be met. I need to be met in this relationship in this way. You're just talking about the best job, the best outcome for them. That's it. So you don't even have to get into the weeds on that one. With them, you can work that in other relationships.
But to this point also, are you doing any personal growth work yourself, Rebecca?
I'm not doing it right now with Right. I'm doing it with like a therapist who's affiliated, who knows Right.
So wherever you're doing it, the important thing is that you're doing that internal work there. In other words, you don't have to do it all with your company. People sometimes confuse that. There's a whole lot of the personal issues about, let's sense of lack of confidence or the limiting beliefs of when you get pushback. So working that at those, we call it unfinished business. Getting that stuff settled, so then you can put it aside the way George is talking about, because it's not going to be charging you so much. So I recommend you bring this into your coaching experience.
Yeah.
And that's the cool thing. That's why I'm saying the negotiation is great, because it triggers your work and you get a chance to use it. So I know.
Right.
Another effing growth experience is
Oh, thanks a lot, Gordon. Another epic growth experience.
I
God,
initiated it with
just
her. Yeah.
praying for another one.
Lucky woman. Thank you, Rebecca.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. So this
Thank
is
you.
Career Lab Wednesday. We're here every Wednesday, noon to 1 p.m. Central. We take all questions, no question too small, no question too big. As you're working in your career, what Dr. Gordon Medlock teed us off with was your career is a pathway for your potential. So what are the things you really care about? How are you driving, and how can we support you in that drive? So I see, Sherry, you've got your hand raised. Are you able to share with us?
Actually, I had a question for Rebecca. Are you by chance in manufacturing or something of that nature?
So I've worked in manufacturing and I've worked in mining. Right now,
Right
it's
now.
more waste management.
Okay, so it's not like a plant where you're doing, making
No.
parts, equipment or anything like that.
I am not at any
company.
plants. So when I travel, I visit the plants, but I am in the corporate office. So I
Okay.
can totally see if I were to like have a contract with like a plant and I was like overseeing the work at the plant, I totally understand that I need to be at that plant.
No,
But
the
this is like, yeah,
reason I say that is because, okay, so I had a role where, I'm in digital marketing and the company is, I had to be on site, even though I could easily done my job remotely. I think it was more of a fairness situation. They didn't want to see people feeling that had to be there in the manufacturing plants. I think that they were trying to do some sort of fairness situation. That was just my experience in that regard.
absolutely. And I think that's where their mind is right now.
And also I think the possibility of, old school mentality versus new school mentality is like, I was at another role that I was in. I was, one person marketing team, and my manager, who I reported to, told me that the company didn't even believe in marketing. And I'm like, what? And, my role didn't last long because they ended up getting new senior management came in. And the new president came in, who was actually from a nonprofit company, who's only, he's knew the owner for many, many years. And the company started losing money because the guy was from a nonprofit. He didn't know how to run a profitable company. And so, we had 4 production plants. All of them were losing money under this new management. And so my role was eliminated because, one, they didn't believe in marketing. And secondly, more importantly, they were losing money. So
Sherry, how can we support you today? What's on your mind of what you're wanting to influence, how you're wanting to influence in your life, or what changes you're trying to make in your career now? How can we support you?
All right. Well, I liked what it said, the topic, 3 ways you influence. In my personal, professional life, I'm not very influential when it comes to having conversations. However, and I guess maybe I need just pay more attention to this, but being in marketing, I have to move customers through the buyer's journey. I have to pull them in from Google. I have to move them through the website. I have to nurture them in, like say, for example, email communications and so on. And so I can do a really good job of what is called conversion optimization.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to influencing people or getting, I've been in job search for a long time now. And I'm having a hard time, and I don't know why. Even though I can do really good at marketing products and companies, I have a hard time marketing myself.
Okay.
So that's why this topic was really attractive to me, because even though I can use awesome words, but I'm sitting there, I'm thinking about it, and I'm writing, and I've got this list of words that I use to influence people. I also, when I write, I try to make it more visual. I'm trying to think of, say, for example, the greatest speakers of all time, Martin Luther King. I have a dream. Well, everybody can picture dream in their mind. So it's like, I need to learn to be able to speak that way so that I need to be able to influence people when it comes to selling myself and getting a job. So that's why I'm here today.
Okay,
This is
thank
great.
you. Thank you, Sherry.
Thank you so much, Sherry. This is like, I'm so happy you're bringing this in. This is something that a lot of people are working on. So this is great.
So you mentioned something that was kind of a throwaway line that had my ears all perked up. You said, I'm really good at conversion optimization. That was like a throwaway line. That is an incredibly valuable skill. That is like gold to most organizations. So part of how you sell yourself is looking at what you're really good at, that you've devoted a lot of time to develop, that you have a high level of skill that would make them very attractive to them, and being able to articulate that in a clear way that shows how you actually are good at conversion optimization and how you can help the company you're interviewing with to do that. Because frankly, that's gold. That's a huge skill. So I'd like to just speak to that and tell me a little bit about how you're good at that and how you've developed that.
Okay, so I took an online course at Benedictine University. It was continuing education course, like it wasn't a full semester, it was more, an accelerated course. Mm-hmm. And it was taught by this marketing guru by the name of Brian Eisenberg. And, he kept telling us, it was the evolution of, you kept going back and using Amazon as a model in terms of a business model. He used all other companies too as business models, but he kept going back to Amazon and how they evolved over the years.
So Sherry, let me interrupt you for a second. Can I interrupt you for a second?
Yeah.
I guess I already did. So I'm hearing a lot about your instructor, but what I'm not hearing about is your skill set of what you got from that course and how it's translating into how you're working with people now as a digital marketer. Okay. Tell me about that.
Okay, so it's about the wording that you use in the copy that you write to get them to move through the buyer's journey. First, it starts with the first Google search. So I use SEO, that's search engine optimization. I use SEO to get them to click on my link to get them to my website. And then I move them.
Let me interrupt you again for a second. So yeah. The key here is getting to what we call sensory grounded examples. Instead of talking in generic terms about what you do, quote, what someone would do, tell them a story of somebody where you've helped move somebody through the conversion optimization process in very vivid terms about how you engaged with them, what you moved them from what to what, so they can actually see the movie of what you've done to help this one person, because that will give them a picture of what you do well.
Okay.
So it's much more effective to actually give them the movie as opposed to the account of description of the movie in a kind of a more, abstract language. So let me hear that part. Let me hear the actual experience you did.
How do I put this in a movie sense? Okay.
Just pick a time where you saw you were able to move a prospect from a lead to perhaps hopefully a buyer of service.
Okay. Oh, all right. So, okay. What is some of your favorite pastimes? Some of your favorite products that you like, something that really,
Me personally?
huh?
You talking about me personally or just in
Yeah,
general?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
me
trying
too.
to relate this to you.
Oh, okay. So what products do I like? I like gadgets that help me work with my computer more effectively and make sure everything's working well.
Okay, something a little more on the fun side.
Okay. Oh, okay. Products I like. I like.
You like
I like-
dogs, you like.
I'm a bicyclist. I love
Okay.
bicycle equipment. In fact, I'm thinking of getting an electric bike because
Okay,
I'm right
I'm
on a
trying to
bike.
get something a little more fun to talk about, something I can relate to too. Okay, so, all
So-
right.
So rather than pick the example to do with me, tell me of an example of somebody you've already done this with in a business setting where you've actually helped somebody move from a lead to a buyer.
Okay,
Give me an example.
so some of this isn't going to be visual though. So,
Well, pick an example. Can you think
okay.
of somebody?
All right, so how I moved people through the buyer's journey. Okay, so first I use my my skills in getting my Google rankings up to the top of the page.
Mhm.
Okay, and then I get them and I use call to action items to get them to click on my website link.
Like what call to action item is an example that you're using?
Like get your quote today.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Get your quote today. All right, so get your new bike today. How about this? Get your new bike today.
Okay. Mhm.
Okay, I'm going to try and relate it to you
Good.
and business terms at the same time. Get your new bike today.
Mhm.
And so now you're on this page and I'm showing you all kinds of cool looking bikes.
Mhm.
And now instead of, a lot of people will say learn more, instead of saying something like that, I'll say, are you Gordon or George?
I'm Gordon.
Okay. So Gordon, how about check out this such and such bike, see what you can do with it. And instead of saying learn more, so many websites say learn more. So
Mhm.
I'll say something, I'll say, get on your bike trail or
Mhm.
something like that, where you can visualize it, right? You're
Mhm.
visualizing it now. You're
Right.
on your bike trail, you're riding your bike and you're on this trail with this brand new bike. So I'll say,
Mhm.
get on your bike trail today. And then.
Oh, you really are pretty.
Thank you. And so, and then now all of a sudden, and then I get you to fill out a form and that way I can get you in my email list.
Okay,
You
so
know?
this is good. This is better, Sherry. This is the way you need to present your stories. Part of what we're looking at is how do you communicate your value to people quickly? and
Okay.
succinctly.
So
What I was
now-
wondering, if I'm an
Now
interviewer,
I'm able to capture your information because you want to learn about getting your new bike on this trail. So now I got your email information, okay?
so let
and
let
then
me-
I'll-
let me
Wait,
interrupt you here.
Sherry,
So,
hold
yeah,
up.
yeah. So Sherry, here's what I need now. If I'm if you're learning how to interview well, what I want is I need to know what company you were working for when you did this, if you can reveal the name of the company, how you were effective in doing this conversion optimization, what percentage of conversion optimizations you were able to make versus the norm of what people typically do in that role, how you're more effective, and then an
Okay.
example of how it looks. So.
Well, my job history lately hasn't been all that great. But I was at RCM Industries before, boring. They manufacture parts for the automotive industry.
Mhm.
So it's really not all that exciting.
Well, that's
Um,
exciting to some people, so you got to tap into that part. Okay, it's fine. Don't apologize. That's
But I'm interviewing with a company tomorrow. That is actually, I'm pretty excited about. The salary isn't all that great, but I need a job. But I'm
Mhm.
excited about it for a few reasons. One, they sell construction equipment like Caterpillar, okay?
Mhm.
But they're not I used to work for Komatsu America. I'm excited about it because I used to work for Komatsu America. These people are distributors. They also cater to the landscaping industry. Years ago,
Yes.
I was in the landscaping industry, so I'm taking
Right.
experiences from two different previous jobs,
Good.
being able to put it together. And and then now that this guy, he's talking about, that's a lot of the skills that he's talking about are what I can do, like I mentioned, getting my rankings high up on Google and moving customers through the buyer's journey.
Good. And what's the role they've got? What's the role you're interviewing for?
It's a digital marketing specialist role.
Cool. So this is your sweet spot.
This is my sweet spot.
Cool. So you've got it. Now so you want to come up with examples from your previous industry experience in landscaping industry of how you've done this with customers and leads in very clear ways. We have a way of talking about it. We call it PAR statements, P-A-R. And this is good for everybody on the call, by the way. Problem, action, result. What it does, it gives you a nice bottom line way to talk about what you've accomplished.
Right.
So you say, like, working in the landscaping industry, we had a problem of getting new customers into a place where they were using our equipment or using our material or whatever. I stepped in to start doing the digital marketing for this. We increased our leads by X percent. Our conversion rate increased from X to Y percent. And we made this much more revenue that first quarter that I was working there in my area.
Right.
That immediately gets my attention.
Have a story to tell you. Okay. A recent one.
Good.
So my last role I was not in marketing, but I was still creating content. I was creating videos to teach people how to use our software products and also creating articles that they answer specific questions to problems that they're having.
So okay, good. So you don't have to say you're not in marketing. Just tell us what you did. You don't want to discount.
So
good.
I was in customer success. All right.
Good.
So we launched a brand new website in I want to say May or June, something like that, specific for customers to report problems they were having. And so our marketing team put together an email in July, and they didn't ask me for any input on it whatsoever. So I put a marketing campaign together for August. And because my call to actions, my persuasiveness, and the use of words that I used in comparison to the marketing team's email campaign, I improved the engagement rate by 9.3% in just 1 month.
Awesome. That's the kind of story you need to be able to tell. That's what I'm talking about. And even if you could mention the language that you brought to it that they weren't using, or a comparison of the terms, the more specific you can be, the more powerful it'll be. But this was a good story. This is your best so far. So
Thank you.
The game here is to get to those bottom line PAR statements in a crisp way, so people get what you did specifically to create value that they can expect you to do at their company. That's the whole game right there.
Right.
So you just need to practice that and get better at doing that in a very bottom line way. And you bring in your stories as it relates to what their concerns are. If they're looking at, this is what they need you to do, this is a skill set, you're going to show them how you've already done that. That's the thing that gives them the most security that you're going to be able to help. So, good step.
Your interview's tomorrow, Sherry?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. Let us know how it goes. And
Okay.
I'm
I don't
throwing,
know how to contact you guys.
we'll okay. So you can connect with us on LinkedIn and also with our emails.
Okay.
But also I threw a video in there. It's one of these previous career labs. Watch the beginning of that to get Dr. Mike Zwell talks about in hiring, there's 3 things. One is your experience, but it's even more, what is it like that you take initiative? And so anything that you do that shows that you took initiative,
Right.
like that is is very much what people are looking for. The other thing then is you interviewing them. And that's a little bit of that takes some practice, but you want to go in talking about the job that you're interviewing for and getting more information about it. I know you said you need to take a job because like you need a job, and it's very hard to do this, but to go in and be really curious about the position, about them, and Dr. Medlock, you've often talked about it like this, like you're sitting at a round table, and at the beginning of the interview, you're on either sides of it, but you're asking such good questions about the role and the job that as the interview goes along, you're like sitting now, like by the end of it, you're sitting at the same side of the table together, looking at the job together.
Right.
You're not going in to try to sell them that you're good. You're just going in to say, yes, oh yeah, here, I check off these things. I know how to do this. I'm good at communicating online. I get results. And then you turn it into, okay, what's happening here at this company? I assume you're hiring for this role because of this. Okay, what would the resources be that I have, whom I work? And you start to get into the nitty gritty with them if you can in that interview.
Mm-hmm.
Cool?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, good luck with that.
Yeah, and join us next week. Let us
Yeah.
know how it goes.
Yeah.
Okay. If you guys are sending stuff in the chat, I'm on an iPad and it's not very,
Okay.
it's
Gotcha,
hard.
gotcha. What's your email?
It's a long one. Ready?
Can I find it on LinkedIn?
I'll just give it to you. I don't mind sharing it with everybody here. You
Okay.
ready?
Sure.
Marketing dot, wait. Marketing dot campaigns with an S on the end of it, the number 4, the letter U at gmail.com.
Okay, cool.
Let me make sure I got that. So it says marketing.campaigns plural for you, number 4, letter U at gmail.com.
Yes.
Sounds good. Cute name. That's a good name. Okay. Good luck with that. And it's all practice. It's all just getting, I'm glad you're here. Just keep coming back and looking at refining, and we'll get you where you need to go. So good luck tomorrow.
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, Sherry. Thanks for jumping in and working that. That is really helpful for us. So this is Career Lab Wednesday. We're here every Wednesday, noon to 1 p.m. Central. And we invite all questions. We look at you developing yourself, that your career is a pathway for you to become who you can become, to work through. Sherry's working on communicating really effectively, letting people know what she can do. And we also had Rebecca sharing about how to communicate effectively with management and where to notice unfinished business or getting hooked, and how to sidestep that sometimes, just to go to what is it that other people care about and how to communicate in a way that's going to help them see that you're helping their vision. So there's a lot that we can get into. I want to check in with anybody jumping in and see what questions you have. How can we support you?
Can I just say something for Rebecca's sake?
Sure, go for it.
So Rebecca, I don't know if you're going to be doing this, pitching to your boss again, in person or via email or what have you. But if you're going to be doing it in writing, or whether it's in writing or in person, look up the top most influential words. So, or persuasive words or inspiring words or something of that nature that will help you put together your arguments.
Thank you,
Cool.
Sherry.
Good idea.
All right.
I appreciate it.
Well, sweet. So I want to check in with Janet, Natan. Good to have you on. Natan, I haven't seen you in a little bit. Janet, I would love to hear from you if you're able to. I know you might have some things going on.
So, good news. I have a third interview on Friday for this one company I've been telling you guys about.
Right?
And it's again with the same person I interviewed with on the first interview.
Good.
Fantastic.
So, how do I do this one a little bit differently so that I know I lock this job down?
So what is the purpose of this meeting? This third meeting?
To discuss onboarding and portals.
Onboarding, it was literally as though you're already hired. How to onboard, you mean?
Mhm. And their portals.
Good.
That's
So
what
this-
I've been told a little bit.
So good. So this is what we call an assumptive close. They're assuming you're hired and they're presenting now the process for you. So you proceed like you're a new employee. Be curious. How do I get up to speed quickly? You're talking as though you're already working there. That sounds like the.
Because I sent an interview saying, I want to work for your company. When are you going to hire me?
So this time, you're just assuming, it sounds like the whole indicator of this meeting is to help you understand the onboarding process, which means they're interested in hiring you.
Mhm.
So you just proceed like that, and then as you're talking, as you get toward the end of that, you get the onboarding process, and you know what's expected. So then you ask at the end, so when can I expect a written offer so we can formalize this and get started as soon as possible?
Yeah, because it's weird. I had my second interview with the interviewer's boss, and she goes, "You made me feel so comfortable, like I've known you for ages."
Excellent, excellent. That's lovely. Good news. That is so important.
So it sounds like you're in and you're onboarding. And so just keep going with that. You're already there, like what Dr. Medlock's saying. Is there any have you discussed the salary and all that already?
It's 22 an hour because it
Okay.
starts 90 days with the staffing. It's fully remote and they provide everything.
Okay, cool. So that's all set up. You're just walking in now. Cool.
But at the end of the meeting, when it's really clear that you're on board, just have them, just say, when can I expect a written offer so I can formalize this and get started as soon as possible? So just make sure you get that request in at the end to make sure that that's the follow-up.
Yes, it is Friday. It's Friday.
Woo! Congratulations. Good job.
Nice going.
George, I'm coming off of speaking because I'm still in my office.
Gotcha.
Understood. Totally okay. So thank you for checking in and congratulations. And again, you just stay in rapport and just take the next steps. Sounds good. Okay.
Awesome. So we got a question coming in from online. How to determine which influencing tactics are right for you? I think it's about what's effective.
Yeah, the question when talking about influence is influencing toward what? So when you think about wanting to be an influencer, what is it that you're really wanting to influence people toward? You may have a particular mission in your life that you want to influence them toward, or something you really care about, or a specific situation. So you need to start with what that's about. And then we can talk about how to strategize to help inspire and align and engage them. Key principle is you put out what it is the vision is of what you're orienting to, but then learn about them. What are their objections? What are their interests? The people you want to influence. How does this land with them in terms of their interest in it as well? So if you could jump on, it would be really helpful for us to coach you a little bit through that and help you discover for yourself what's the next right step, because actually you know what the next right step is, and we'll help you articulate that, because you already know what matters to you that you're trying to influence. It sounds like people in a certain direction. So it's usually, that's what really coaching is about. And a lot of what we do here is coaching in these calls, but also in our practice. And it's really not about us telling you what to do. It's about us helping you pull out and articulate what it is that's there that you have a sense of, but maybe haven't put to words yet. And we help you do that. So
Beautifully
encourage you
said.
to jump in if you'd like, and we'd be happy to do some coaching with you.
Yeah, Sarah, if you're able to jump in,
And if not, you can follow up with either one of us and do a session around it or a conversation. We can figure out something.
that determining which influencing tactics are right for you. I mean, so we want to get to know you, and you'll be telling us the ones that are right for you.
Yeah.
I'm often learning that for me, influencing tactics that tend to be most useful for me are the ones that I haven't had as much practice with. So taking a risk in a meaningful way. Sometimes it's also knowing my gifts and kind of doubling down on some of the ways that I'm good at influencing, and recognizing that and using that a little more intentionally.
Cool.
You
Yeah, so as you're talking, George, that just occurred to me, there's something I'm trying to influence right now in my organization. So I'm going to be a little oblique about it, but I'm going to tell you, I have a sense of the kind of influence I want to have. So what I'm really looking at is, how do I understand what matters? What might the reservations be of the people I'm trying to influence? And how can I help them see a pathway to doing this that addresses their reservations and also supports the vision of what we both want? So I want to create a shared vision of what it is we're both orienting toward, and then be sensitive to what the objections are that I'm helping them through, so that they can see a pathway to realize a shared vision. So that's what I'm noticing for this particular thing. And I think that may be translatable for what you're talking about. Create a shared vision of what it is that you're working with somebody, understand what their objections are, be sensitive to those and address those, and create pathways so they can get to what they want, and we can both win. So
beautiful.
yeah, I hope it works too.
I like,
Thank you.
I like what you said there, and I think Rebecca can use this in her pitch, that I will be a happier and more productive employee.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, thank you for that, Sherry. And I think the other thing that's really important is realize these are not one-time conversations. This is depending on the stakes, and for that organization that you just mentioned, it's a big deal to have their employees all working remotely. It's not going to be a one-time conversation. Be prepared for many, many iterations of this to help them through their objections, and for you to create a vision that's persuasive enough that they can buy off. So I'm realizing that for myself in my example. I know it's not a one-time conversation. So it's just, but it's like, I think it's really important. I think the vision of what I'm talking about is going to matter to everybody. And just like she needs to be able to convey that this is really important for the success of her company long-term, to have really satisfied employees who love working there because they have the freedom that she's talking about, and finding a way to address the fairness issues that are real. And those are really important, because if one group of people working in the plants feel that there's resenting the professionals that don't have to come in, you've got a problem that's hard to manage. It's a real morale killer. So that's a real problem and a real objection that needs to be looked at seriously. And maybe it starts out with maybe one day, but you show that you're sensitive to that issue rather than just driving your agenda. So really it's about rapport and win-win at the end of the day, rather than, getting them somewhere.
Agreed.
I really like what you're saying, and I'm so curious about that, because that fairness thing really is a thing. There was somebody was making the point, if you take 35 cookies into a classroom of 35 kindergartner kids, and you give 34 of them to one, and you give the one to the other 34. Like, just watch what happens.
Well,
and that's all of us.
Yeah, and
that's all of us.
There's a lot of research that salary is a very sensitive issue, and what matters, it doesn't necessarily, is not a motivator necessarily to helping people strive and engage more. But if there's a sense of unfairness, it's a total demotivator to everybody. So if there's a sense of, I'm not getting a fair deal here, that's a killer of motivation. So it's very important to be sensitive to fairness issues for that reason. So it's really taking all that seriously. So
wow.
Yeah.
Well, I love where we went today.
Yeah,
so
me
thanks
too.
everybody for joining in and sharing. This is Career Lab Wednesday. Every Wednesday, noon to 1, we're here. So we invite you to join in again next week. You can connect with us on LinkedIn. You can connect with us on YouTube. Subscribe there. You have access to all of the LinkedIn specific and resume specific career labs that we've done. The other thing I want to invite you to is our evening webinars. I did one last week. It was fantastic on leading with emotional intelligence. And we
What's
take
that?
a lot of what we talk about. Yeah. We take a lot of like the stuff that we just you hear us touch on here, but we go deeper into it. So you want to jump onto those as well. Take this deeper.
Do we have any coming up right now? that they
We
should know
do.
about?
We have Beyond Positive Thinking is I believe next week, and I love that one because
What's that about? Beyond positive?
but Beyond Positive Thinking, that's like one of the things I really liked about Wright Foundation when I first began here was the notion of like that book, The Secret. Oh, and if I just meditate on something long enough, I'll get it.
Mhm.
And Beyond Positive Thinking is like, well, if that was all true, we'd all be driving limousines and Corvettes and all have helicopters and shit. So obviously it's not true. And so Beyond Positive Thinking is like, what's really going on deeper inside of us, the limiting beliefs, how to work through that,
Sure.
and addressing kind of like what's that, the dirty little secret of I think Martin Seligman said this about personal growth work is I can't remember what it is though.
I'm not sure.
Shoot, you're gonna have to tune in on it. Yes, thank you, Jane, for putting that in there. So it's actually how to work through the deeper challenges that a lot of positive psychology and things
that's
don't
what we were
really
talking about
address.
with Rebecca, is really that she identified the barriers that were preventing her from having the resilience to deal with the pushback. So
Yes,
that's the sort of thing you're talking about.
Yes.
That would be a great seminar for you to take, Rebecca, or just sit in. That's a free seminar.
yes,
Yeah.
yep. Beyond Positive Thinking next
Take
week.
advantage.
When is that?
That's what's the date?
That is Thursday next week.
Next Thursday.
Thursday when?
6 to 8 Central, Thursday the 10th.
Is that every Thursday or no?
Just that date.
No, but Sherry, do you want to be kept up to date of our evening webinars? You
Perhaps,
know what that means. Do you want to be on our
Because
email list?
yeah, because I'm in marketing, I don't like to be marketed
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, okay, you understand. Yeah, okay.
But yeah, I think I would, yeah. And also, could one of you guys, because I am on the iPad, would somebody be able to send me the chat that's got the links to this stuff?
Oh, yes. What you're gonna do is we'll send you the information. Do you use YouTube?
Yes,
Okay, you can get it in YouTube.
okay,
And we'll send you that, and that way you can browse YouTube on your own pace, and then the webinars are live and happening every few weeks.
all right, thank
And
you.
I'm gonna plug George and the More Life Training and the Year of More, because those are helping me get through some of my blocks and helping me find a better job too.
Awesome. Thank you, Jen.
Here, Janet.
Next one of those is in January, right?
Yep.
January 3rd and 4th, I think, something like that.
January 6th through the 8th.
Okay. 6th
Yep.
through the 8th. Early January. We can get you a link on that one too.
Yes, that you'll hear more about that, Sherry, and everybody else listening. But that's something to make sure to get on your calendar. Take the time to do it when you can, because it's highly valuable. So blessings,
Thank you all.
everybody.
Yeah, good luck to you, and good to be here today.
Yes.
Take care,
All right.
everybody. Bye now.
Cheers.